Okay. What? Oh my goodness. Huh?
Too much fun over there. Should be illegal.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Aramis from the Post Podium Podcast. Listen. Whatever you think from week one is going to get discussed on this show, but the question you need to ask yourself right now is this game from the Buffalo Bills, this loss, is it an afterthought or the aftermath of the offseason? Welcome to the Post Podium Podcast, people. I am your co-host, Aramis.
And this is Key.
And this is, once again, home of the all-truth, no sodium takes. Let's get it cracking, man. Let's get right to this thing. Let me get this music down for everybody so we can hear what we talking about, man. This week leading up to this game, I was nervous this whole time, man. Like I tried to keep my calm, and I tried to just, keep a normal, I don't know, like just a normal flow to my days, and but this is one of those games where I just had a feeling, some way, somehow, the Bills were not ready. It didn't seem like they were ready. In some cases, I think the defensive line was probably ready for this game, but I think overall there were a lot of.
I don't think anybody's prepared for that game. I really don't.
You don't think anybody's?
I don't think anybody's prepared for that game, and we'll get into why. We'll break it down step by step, piece by piece, brick by brick. But nobody's prepared for that game like they should. You got to get up for a Monday night game like that. I don't care. Like I said last time, it's one game at a time. But at the same time, you still got to rise to the occasion. And I was talking to my uncle, when we left the UB Fordham debacle. And I asked him, I said, why do Buffalo teams always play up or play down to the composition? Why do they never dictate? Why are they never the ones that say, step up to my level?
Yeah.
So when we watched what we watched on last night, I had to ask myself the same question, why are we playing down to a level of which we didn't need to. We had that game. We could have won that game. It was just mental lapses.
Right.
And, trying to go back and rewatch it and dissect. And I don't know if you know, but on the NFL app, you can slow down the plays. There's the settings. You can go half speed, three-quarter speed, whatever.
Nice.
And so, I definitely a couple of times did that because I was just trying to understand what happened. And, of course, people want to get into the low-hanging fruit, Mr. 17. But no, I don't want to start there. Everybody's starting at 17. I want to start on Mr. McDermott, his defense.
Oh, really?
I want to start on his defense.
The strongest part of the game you want to start on him?
I don't think they were that great. Honestly,
okay.
If they're the strongest part of the game, then 14 didn't play. Because that's the only thing in that game that kept us afloat. Well, 14, 88, and 86. Kincaid, Knox, and Mr. Diggs.
No Cook?
Cook could have got cooking, had his line, supply the utensils, turn on the grease. But people watched the game and they said, James Cook, he left a lot to be desired. No, he really didn't. If you think about the first drive, I believe it was, he had a 5-yard loss. Why did he have a 5-yard loss? Because they tried a pin and pull on Quinnen Williams' side. Deion Dawkins got dusted. That was just a bad play call. Just a bad play call. So, for me, I'm sitting here like, okay, what could Cook have done better? I don't really know on that play what he could have done better.
Well, okay, so I just about exhausted my ears today with as much response from the fans on the radio and as much radio talk as I could fill myself with, right? And one of the things that got mentioned about Cook was that he was going down a little bit too easy, as if he was trying to protect himself and not get injured.
Well,
right?
I think that's part of his game. But at the same time, not name one of the three running backs or Josh Allen broke a tackle. Not one registered broken tackle the whole game. So
right.
I mean, he went down. Yeah, he went down, and I mean, I expect that from him. He's a little scat back, kind of.
Okay, let me ask you this. Maybe you might know. Has Cook always kind of played this way, even in college? Just going down easy, not really trying to break tackles. Not.
I mean, he's a jukey. He's a little jukey guy. So he's not gonna. He leans forward. He's not gonna try to run you over. But yeah, he's a finesse player. Okay. So he's in the flats. He outruns you, and that's how he plays. Okay. But in contrast, Damian Harris, he didn't break any tackles. He didn't really move the pile at all.
Did Damian Harris get many carries? He got one carry.
One carry, yeah,
for 3 yards.
3 yards. And that's puzzling in itself, don't you think? A little puzzling because
he's supposed to be your big back. He's supposed to be he's supposed to be the guy that plays in this type of game. When you're going against that kind of defensive line, you got that kind of lead, and you need to run the clock out.
And my question for the end of the game, especially, why was Murray in the game and not Harris?
Do you think maybe Harris is still dealing with some lingering of the injury?
I was looking to see if he showed up on an injury report or some kind of, I saw nothing. So he did take a big shot over the middle when he on the reception he had. I think it was C.J. Mosley smacked him, but he looked like he was
you feel it if you get hit by him.
Man, like we talked about last time, I love C.J. Mosley. I love what he brings.
Quincy Williams, though.
Yeah, Quincy Williams, but I mean, C.J. Mosley's just that guy.
Okay.
Don't get me confused. Quincy Williams was good, and whoever was lined up over Spencer Brown, it didn't really matter who, was just that guy. But
I wrote in my notes, he can't anchor. He can't.
No, he can't anchor. But, I mean, when you're 6'8", I don't know how big, who was it? Whoever it was that pushed him right in Allen's on the
Jermaine Jones.
Was it Jermaine? I don't think it was Jermaine. It was
Jermaine
else.
Johnson. Sorry.
No, I don't think it was somebody else. Hold on. Let me just take a look at it. But the fact remains.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the fact remains the same that, when you look at somebody 6'8" and he's not that heavy. Mekhi Becton is 6'8", 340, 350.
Right.
So you can anchor.
But he's not going to get bull rushed like that.
Right. Right. Like I said, Spencer Brown is high cut. I like to give the analogy all the time. He's a basketball player, but he's high cut.
Right.
Just seeing him in person, he's not really imposing unless you're 5'8", because you're looking up at this guy, but you're not thinking this guy is wide. But Osiris Torrance was definitely for me the best balanced offensive lineman. He did give up a couple rushes, maybe 2 rushes, but when you look at what he did in the rush and passing game, he was definitely the most stalwart. What surprised me was Mr. McGovern. I don't know if you have any notes on McGovern, but he was horrible in running. He didn't really give you anything in the pass game either.
Yeah, I didn't really do like individual player notes. I would have to go back and I don't have a lot of time. But
McGovern was definitely rough. And I know he was supposed to be lauded for his pass blocking, but he wasn't good there either. I mean, you had Quentin Williams on you at times, but you left too much meat on the bone. You left your guys out to dry, and even Mitch Morse. If you look at there was a play where I think I forget what it was in the second quarter. James Cook got stopped in the backfield again. I don't know what Morse was trying to do. It looked like he was going to pull around McGovern, but he kind of just stood there. It was a lazy pull. He looked like he didn't know what he was doing, and James Cook was like trying to find a hole that was supposed to be there. As a gap blocking team, we were horrible last night. In the zone, a little better.
Right.
But I think you need to go back to the drawing board. We have to ask ourselves, what is Cromer doing? That's the thing. What is Cromer really doing at this point?
I mean, is it Cromer, or is it just what the players are being asked to do? Is it the scheme? Is it the coordinator? I mean,
well, that's the thing. In my mind, you have to get in lockstep with the coordinator and figure out what he needs from his front line. And
he needs different players. He needs better players,
and that's going to always be the answer, I believe.
I mean, that's just the bottom line of it. Listen, the Jets' defensive line is really good at rushing the passer, right? Are they as good as the defensive line for the Browns? Probably not. Are they as good as what were their numbers last year in terms of pass rush efficiency? Can you pull those up?
Yeah, I got you.
I'm just, and the reason I'm saying this is, it seemed like this team was susceptible to the run in certain spots, and there was one particular run play that was called, and my whole point in bringing all this up is I'm kind of going after, the scheme of the offense and some of the play calls that happened during the game. But
just to jump in real quick, the Jets last year were the third ranked
pass rusher,
pass rushers. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I knew they were high.
Yeah, they're really high.
Where does it say? What does it say this year?
Well, after week 1. You're 19th.
19th. Okay. So who we got? I mean, yeah, Cowboys are going to be much better. 49ers are much better. Browns.
Steelers are probably much better.
Browns, definitely. Brian Burns in Carolina. They got a great defensive line. So, yeah, I mean, what I really think it boils down to is that is a strength of the Jets defense, and their strength capitalized on the Bills' biggest offensive weakness, which is the offensive line.
Right.
Now, conversely and inversely, the Bills did the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. Our defensive line capitalized on their poor offensive line play and took out their quarterback for maybe the rest of his career.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be the end of it.
Right? So I want to go back to the reason I brought this up. When you have offensive linemen that are on the lighter side, a little bit more mobile, mm-hmm. You don't run power run schemes.
I know.
You just don't do that. We talked
about this ad nauseum. You're right.
And for whatever reason, this has now been 2 separate times where you've had a new offensive coordinator come in and you don't give them the full spectrum of tools they need for their offense to work the way that it should work. You essentially ask them to come in and make a Thanksgiving dinner out of 2 beans and a grain of rice.
Right.
Essentially, and so, when I'm looking at, and I can say this because Rick Dennison's offense, that offensive line that they put together for that offense worked. It worked fine. They ran the zone run scheme. They had the mobile linemen. They had already traded for Mitch Morse at that point, and okay, good. That offensive line for that offensive scheme works. But then you bring in Dayball, and you go power run, and then you bring Dorsey in, for the sake of quote continuity, power run. Even though you move to a 12, you still stick with power run schemes against that defensive line?
Yeah, I mean, look right here. I mean, this will show you right here all you need to know. All of our rushes were between the centers. This is the A gap. The ML's A gap, left guard, and inside the left tackle. This is where we ran the whole time. I mean, I'm not going to talk about these quarterback scrambles, but you're talking about
up the middle.
Yeah, they're all up the middle with James Cook.
Running right into the teeth of Quinnen Williams,
which is what we were talking about with that pin and pull. What was the pin and pull about when you're doing when you don't have the girth, you don't have the anchor in the middle, and it didn't work. So that's the thing. How many times are you gonna do it if it doesn't work?
Well, what I think happened is, and if you are you talking about that draw play that they did the pin and pull, or
no? Well, I was talking about what I was talking about earlier with the Dawkins whiff, where he lost the 5 yards.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not the same one. So there was a run play that they did like 4 times in the game, maybe 5.
Oh, I know. You're talking about that awkward one where he ran sideways and handed off that draw. Where
he hands him the ball and he just kind of runs straight off to the same side. Yeah. And, it worked one time, right. And they thought, maybe we can strike gold again because he almost scored a touchdown on that one play. And this is something that I saw from the Bills last year where it looked like they went through the playbook and they settled on one good run play that they wanted to do the entire game, and they just crossed their fingers and hope that this play busts out an 80-yard touchdown run, and then they now have the defense on their heels, worried about the run the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, their game plan was to throw. That was a game plan. I mean, there was no game plan for flats. There was no game plan for swings, for screens. There's no game plan for anything else but to throw the ball. And I mean, it could have worked. Yes, it could have worked. But one, you weren't consistent with your game plan through and through. And two, you had a quarterback, which we're not going to talk about completely right now, who didn't want to stick to the game plan.
Right.
I mean, he was eating intermediate. He was eating short.
Oh yeah.
And they were getting yak yardage, something that I've asked for years. But all of a sudden, now I don't want to do that anymore. I want to go for the gusto. In a 13-3 game, I'm going for the gusto.
I texted you this. I think it was it after the game? It might have been during the game. I think we were talking about this, and I said, Josh must have heard somebody in the crowd say anticlimactic after Aaron Rodgers got hurt and said, hold my beer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he felt it was almost as if he heard how quiet it was and wanted to get everybody riled up. Like does it come off to you like Josh is the type of kid that lives for the excitement of the moment? Not necessarily, like, he may be super competitive and want to win, but his gameplay leans more towards the rush of the game.
Think about it like this. This is all you did. What did he say in the promo leading up to the game? He said, I grew up looking up to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He said, and I always dreamed of beating him in the NFL. He's always dreamed of beating Aaron. This was his moment.
No. He did that last year.
This was his moment. I've always dreamed of beating him. I guess it was a big stage. I don't know. But he's always dreamed of beating him. So whether he did it last year or not, and guys that have been watching the show for a while, we're not about to argue about this, but I'm with you. But what I'm saying is, going into your point about how he might feel like anticlimactic, and I live for the rush. This is it. Rodgers is going, I'm going to be the new guy. This is my chance to show up and show out by scrambling and throwing the ball 60 yards to, was it Whitehead? When you had an easy check down. Did you see the check down?
I don't know. To me, the reason, and I might just start an argument over this because it doesn't make sense that that's his reason for going out on the field and playing the way he played, because Aaron Rodgers wasn't even out there.
You're not getting an argument from me because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that's what he's saying. And going with your point that you were making about how he's saying that, the rush, that this is my moment.
Yeah.
I'm the new guy. This is me.
That's what it seemed like. Right. I think I agree with you there.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with you. So, I mean, I don't know if I was saying it right or not, but my thing was watching the game, he did Josh Allen type things. But it's almost like you're not. We're talking about Josh Allen. Let's just do it. It's almost like nobody's going to check you on the sideline.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nobody's going to come and get in your face.
Yep.
You're going to live to see another down. Because you went and got Matt Barkley, Kyle Allen, and Shane B. You got Shane Buechele behind you. On purpose, by design. These are the guys that are behind you.
Right.
You're not getting benched. And the people that called in last night saying, this is not high school. People, I don't know if you heard it, if you listened to the postgame, so you should bench Josh. Just let them see.
I heard that today.
Like, man, this ain't high school.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Right.
Because he knows, as bad as he was, he's still better than the next guy.
Exactly. What else you got?
What else do you have? Yep. Yeah. I'm still going to make the $17 million for this game. I'll sit down.
Right. I'll sit down and take this paycheck all day long.
Right. Do your thing.
Right. But so, okay. You're absolutely right. And what I think is worse is what happened to Diggs in the offseason is a clear indicator of exactly what you're talking about. And the fact that happened is part of, and we talked about this a few episodes ago about the environment they've created for Josh, but I think this speaks to how this team has put Josh in a position to play like he played last night and face no consequences for it whatsoever. When you're Stephon Diggs and you go to your coach and you go to your GM and you voice your opinion about what the heck is going on with your quarterback and how he's on podcasts talking about he don't work out in the offseason and he's working on his golf game and he's trying to rest his mind and his body and all that stuff. What body you got to rest when you don't work out?
I don't know. I mean,
like the whole reason you got to rest your body in the first place is because you on 3rd and 11 you trying to jump over defenders for 4 yards and still be 7 yards short.
Yeah,
like
that made no sense.
Right. To me, stuff like that is. But for Sean McDermott to fall on the sword the way that he did for Josh.
Yeah.
Right. He said what he said about Diggs leaving the building and him being a very, very concerned or whatever the case was. To protect Josh, because this $258 million quarterback that we got might come under fire if people find out who he really is and how he really is, right? Yeah. And then you also look at how many people are in this building on this offense that are only there because Josh wants them there.
That's the key point.
The offensive coordinator is only there because Josh wants him there. Every quarterback in this room not named Shane B is there because he wants them there.
Yep.
I mean, maybe he picked Joe Brady. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, Mitch Morse,
right?
Dawson Knox. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's people we don't know. There's a lot of nepotism there, and some of it's okay. Some of it to me is okay when you talk with like Christian Kirksey, as close as he was with Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyers and stuff like that. But when you're talking about a guy who's getting Von Miller only because you'll let him have Matt Barkley, and it sounds humorous to me, but it's been true. It's been proven to be true. That really happened. I want Kyle Allen because that's my buddy from the Jordan Palmer camp. It's happened. It's happening. It's crazy to me.
Did you know he didn't even go to Jordan Palmer's camp this year?
Well, how could he?
He didn't feel like he needed to.
How could he?
What do you mean?
What time did he have? He had to golf. He had to do all this other stuff.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he had he had previous engagements, not learning his craft, not getting over his craft.
He had to go spend some time with his new girlfriend and
break up with the old one first. Maybe second. I don't know.
No, man.
I don't know how that worked. I don't know the chronology of that one, but the point still remains. I mean, you look at, like you said, you're getting all these people. You're getting your way. You're getting the coaches. You're getting everything you want handed to you, and then you go and lay a turd, and you have the audacity to sit with those puppy dog eyes on that podium and say it's on me.
Oh, you did say it? I fell asleep, bro.
I almost cursed. I almost just cursed right there. I almost. No, I was gonna say no. I mean, let's put it like this. We know it's on you, but I also blame the reporters.
They set up for that.
It's been on you. We know you got to be better. You just laid dookie chunks
for the last 4 or 5 years already.
You were abysmal.
Right.
Give me something else. I would have said that. I would have made it to the point where he said we want to keep everything in the house, or shut it down, because at this point I'm tired of those answers.
Josh, that excuse is not going to work anymore. Can you give us something else?
Right.
We're tired of hearing that already.
It's on you.
I actually have my notepad from like the last 5 years, and the same quote is in there every year.
And my thing is, it's on you. So what were you saying that you didn't see Steph Diggs on the drag? What were you saying when you bailed the pocket and Kincaid was right there? What were you saying on the path? That's what I would be asking at this point in time, because I'm tired of hearing it's on me.
Right.
I'm tired of that. You got your money. You fleeced us if that's what it is.
Oh, that's definitely what happened. Like, he owes every dollar to Brian Daboll right now.
He does.
Every dollar.
I hope Daboll got that new baby blue Bentley over there.
You know what's funny too is I don't know if you saw on Facebook, I was going back and forth with a friend of mine that is a Patriots fan. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about how we lost to the Jets the way we did. And I said, well, wait a second. Your team has been run poorly for the last 4 years. Like, you really don't have a right to,
but then, see our planes?
Yeah, right. But then he said, we lost to Philly by 5 points.
Yeah.
and y'all lost to the Jets
without Aaron
Rodgers. And there was nothing I could say to that because I watched some of that Patriots game against the Eagles, and I'm telling you, they look like a real team now.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that they almost beat the Eagles, I think it was a turnover that gave the Eagles the ball or something like that, like a fumble or something like that, that allowed the Eagles to go ahead and stay ahead at the end of that game. But the Patriots were beating them at one point. And it was that was a tough game the whole way, right? So what I'm saying with all that is you have a defense in New England that plays championship level defense.
Right.
And now you have an offense that has a real coordinator, and that offense looks like it can move the ball now. It may not be an elite passing offense, but you know what?
It's efficient.
Right. It's efficient. Exactly. And that's what I wanted to get to. All this team has needed for the last 3 years is efficiency. And every single time that we've seen Josh operate with any level of efficiency whatsoever, this team has looked unstoppable. See the Rams game last year when we destroyed the Rams. And see the Titans game. See the Pittsburgh game.
The thing about this, and I thought about it, Josh Allen against the Jets always gets beat in an efficient manner. It's the quarterback. Mike White. Who's Mike White? He's not making $258 million.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson's not there, but they're beating you or they're hanging with you because they're taking what we're giving them.
Yep.
We're not trying to create stuff that's not there. And that's the problem with Dorsey. That's the problem with Josh Allen's mind state. That's the problem with McDermott. You have to, at some point, somehow, some way, check this fool.
Listen, the man got his money.
He got his money.
The man got he got his fame.
He got his video game cover.
That's what I mean. He's got his fame. He's in commercials now. He's the face of an NFL franchise. One of only 32 jobs in the entire world. This man he's on the pedestal that everybody in Buffalo wanted to put him on. He's up there now. Now you can't get him down. You can't even reach him.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say to him?
Yeah.
Right? So what? And I was thinking about this in the car. And I told my wife this. I said, with all of these factors the way they are now, the only solution to all of this is what? And I'll give you a chance to answer before I give you.
I got nothing. Give it to me.
You need a new voice, because when Dennison didn't work out, and you drafted Josh, you brought in a new voice. You brought in a voice that knew how to design an offense around Josh, that knew how to say to Josh, no. Yeah. Don't look down 20 yards.
Yeah.
You got that right there. You hit that.
Yeah.
You hit that, you'll be elite.
Yeah.
You'll be the best quarterback in the league. You hit that right there, you going to go far, right? No. Don't scramble out. Stay in the pocket. Stay in the pocket. You trust what I'm telling you, we're going to go to the AFC Championship game. Watch what I say to you.
Yeah.
Right? You got a voice like that who knows how to talk to a quarterback and say the things that a quarterback needs to hear to be able to listen. Right? And I'm sorry, I'll put it like this. That's like I'm a vocalist, right? I sing. That's like me going to somebody who just started learning how to sing, but went and got their music degree or something like that, and they want to come teach me how to sing. But bro, I've been singing for 20 years. Like, what are you talking about? Like, if you're not teaching me something more than the teachers that I've already learned from, then what are we talking about? You can't teach me nothing. Like, that's Josh's mindset. It's got to be Josh's mindset at this point with the way that he's playing.
Yeah.
If you see Sean on the sideline going like this, be smart, and then the next series that Josh goes out on 3rd and 11, he's jumping over players for 4 yards and still 7 yards short of the first down. Does it look like he's listening to his coaches? Does it look like he has his ears open and his cup empty and ready to receive whatever these coaches are telling him?
And right before we started the show, I saw a tweet. It must have come out last night, but for whatever reason, it pops in my notifications now, where it said that reports are Sean McDermott is becoming visibly irritated with Josh Allen on the sideline. So,
yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't see it, but see, my thing is, it's more than meets the eye. There's more than meets the eye with this team, and I think you may be right with the implosion. Because we have too much talent for it just to be obvious. Yeah, Mr. Burns. Too much talent for it to be obvious, but at the same time, it's happening. It's happening right before our eyes, and that lends to a lot of the collapses we didn't see in years past. We were at least disciplined. We were at least a team that you could see knew what the spot they were supposed to be in was.
Right.
Whether or not they got there was a
first
different
3
thing.
years in the league, that was the thing that needed to change about this team was they were undisciplined.
Mm-hmm.
They were out of position and they just and we're just talking about the defense.
Right.
We're not even talking about the offense was just abysmal. They needed somebody who just knew what they were doing on offense, right?
No point talking about
so
that.
Sean comes in, he establishes the discipline and putting players in the right position and all that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the team makes the playoffs their first year. Right?
With the same players Rex Ryan had.
Exactly. And that was the one thing that people could point to and say Sean McDermott knew exactly what this team needed, which was discipline.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I say he's a leader of men. I give him that.
Yeah.
He did a hell of a job up until a point.
Right.
And that's why every time we talk about offensive coach versus defensive coach, and we talk about it, and I say, even if he wanted the job, he has to find a court that will get him from here over the top. He'll get us here.
Yep.
But I'm tired of being here. I don't want to have that team where I know I'm going to be like 1-16 next year.
Right.
But if we won the Super Bowl and went, we lost, Tre'Davious White, we lost Von Miller, people that we rebuilt, and we went 8-9 or something like that. I can put that on my palate.
Right.
I'm not going to regurgitate that. So you'll see a vision. You'll see a plan. I mean, right now we're going for broke, supposedly, even though we lost to Zach Wilson and the Week 1 Jets.
Well, no, the statement itself is right. They going for broke. They about to be broke. Like I think they spent every dollar they had to spend
cent.
Last year.
Every cent. They maxed their credit cards out and everything.
Right.
I mean, that's where we are with it. And when you think about it, they really have, in essence, with the cap, maxed their credit card. And you guys that don't believe a cap is real, we'll see the cap is real.
Yeah, real quick.
Why can't we accord a number 2 quarterback?
Listen, this team is probably going to have to cut 10 players that everybody knows the name of.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, don't be surprised if like a DeMar Hamlin is just starting safety with with
Cam Lewis or Taylor Rapp.
And not even Taylor Rapp because he's under the contract.
Oh my gosh.
So it will be a Cam, and Cam Lewis he's never been a safety until the Minnesota game last year. So I say what? Enjoy it now.
Yeah.
Enjoy it now. And you got to lean on your coaches to get the best out of their men.
Exactly.
Because we may be a playoff team this year. We ain't a Super Bowl team based on what I just saw. And we don't have the money to make the changes from now until the end of the season. So what you see is what you get. This is about it.
I think I've settled on the thought that if the Bills now granted, I understand it's week 1. I understand they have 2 what should be looked at as very winnable games coming up. This, see the home opener with the Raiders and then the Commanders after that. But this is also a Jets team that should have gotten beat without Aaron Rodgers. You let.
What? When I think about it, now I'm thinking about right now, should we have beaten without Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
The easy answer is yes. But the reason why I asked that, if you look at the dynamic of the Jets versus the dynamic of the Bills, we are built predicated on one of 2 people. Stephon Diggs or Josh Allen, right?
Okay.
Without them, the vehicle doesn't go.
Okay.
But the Jets, what have they done? They went out and they drafted Breece Hall, got Zonovan Knight, picked up Dalvin Cook. Just in case something like this goes down, Zach Wilson can still throw the short ball and have some kind of competence. Now, if our quarterback goes down, what happens?
And and a lot of people probably aren't willing to say this after what happened in Denver, but Nate Hackett is a good offensive coordinator.
Bad. Yeah, he's like one of those guys where you got to know your limit.
Right.
You may never. He's
not a head coach.
He's never going to be a head coach now.
But he's a good. He's a good offensive coordinator.
And the thing is, when you get guys that believe in you for whatever reason, they're going to play for you.
Right.
So if Josh Allen would have went down yesterday, heaven forbid, not because of my Bills stake, but because of Josh Allen just being a human being, I don't want anybody to get hurt. But had that been him, our season's screwed.
Right.
And we can't afford to go get somebody better than Bussell. Go get somebody better than Kyle Allen. And if you tell me you think you can win with Kyle Allen,
I was thinking about this earlier, and this might be a slight gear shift, but as someone who used to be a very avid Madden player, my favorite part of the game, I never really played online a lot, but right. I mean, you've seen me play people before and all that kind of stuff, and I've always been good at the game, right? And so I was thinking about this today because I had the urge to play it again after listening to everything that I heard, and what the thought that came to me was the way that I build my teams. My strength is offense. For some reason, I'm better at controlling an offense than I am at controlling a defense and kind of dictating to, people's.
And that's how we used to play.
Yeah,
I play the defense, you play offense,
right?
Because
exactly.
I'm more akin to play defense. But I get your point, and I don't want to cut you off, but I just thought about it because we were offensive defensive coordinators.
Yeah. So the next thought after that was, okay, well, when I built my teams. Because I used to love to do, fantasy drafts, or I would just take
did. Yes, you did. Didn't matter what time of day.
I was down for a fantasy draft. Like it just offers so many different, variables and outcomes and stuff like that. I love playing around with different. Like I would build teams that had stud defensive lines and no secondary, or I would build teams with great linebackers and poor defensive line play, and then I would just draft the players as needed. But my point is this. I'll get to the point. Knowing that offense was my strength, every single draft that I had, it almost just by default.
Don't do it.
Every draft that I had,
walk out of here. What?
I would make sure to build the strongest defense that I could.
I told you I was going to walk out of here.
I would make sure.
I told you I was going
to build. To build the side of the ball that I knew I was weakest at, so that at the very least I would have a balanced team.
How many times, how many years, how many drafts have I said that to you?
Yeah.
After we got Tre'Davious White, okay, I got that one. Like I said, that was his first draft. That's your cornerstone, you think. Your cornerback, whatever, your side. Then you go ahead and you lose me with Epinesa, Ed Oliver, Rousseau, and Basham. You're losing me every draft. I'm like, what? Kyrie, whatever. It's not because he's not playing, but because why?
Yeah.
Why? But your offense doesn't even get free agents.
Right.
You got Steph Diggs said, go play.
Right.
What is that?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, man.
So, am I about to lose you?
I think you already did.
We gotta do another video. Keyshon and Doug out of here early.
I'm tearing up a little bit. I just can't believe, and that's the gross incompetence that was exposed to me early in your regime.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, you don't have an offensive coordinator. Now you had Dable. Now you have a brand new one. Load them up.
Exactly.
Load them up. That's why I didn't care about Kincaid and Torrance. Fine, you finally gave this man a lineman and another weapon.
You're finally investing anything at all into the
Please,
offense.
Sir.
Right.
Please give me more.
Yeah, but I mean, like that to me is the biggest hole in any explanation, in anything that Sean McDermott can say, because I mean, let's be honest. When he hired Leslie Frazier, when he hired Rick Dennison, one of the things that people were able to say, and one of the things that reporters and people on the radio were saying was, man, this first time head coach has got some wisdom. He's putting a lot of guys around him who have been there before and done that. Right?
And I gave him credit for that too.
100%. I did the same exact thing.
We did.
But somewhere along the line, maybe it was making the playoffs his first year. Maybe it was making the AFC Championship. The Josh Allen's second year in the league.
I think that's what it was. Honestly, I think that's what it was.
Right. I think somewhere along the line, he got it in his mind that he just couldn't lose.
Yeah.
That everything that he was doing in Buffalo was gold, and that he knew better than everybody else around him.
I think it was more so the kind of deal where, when you start the lawnmower, You got to pull that string. You pull it, and it doesn't go.
Yeah.
But then you pull that string, you get Josh Allen.
Oh,
and you see the thing start to move. You like, ain't nothing stopping us now.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing stopping. I'm good. Ain't nothing stopping this. So what do? Fall back on their hands again. And they don't understand. You don't stop. Andy Reid didn't stop. You know, all these big guys, Bill Belichick, and his mind didn't stop.
Right.
Even though he stopped years ago. But if your Patriot friend is on, that wasn't a dig. It was just reality. Anyway, but the thing is, when you have a Josh Allen, you get 17 weeks of tape plus playoffs every year. You get 16 years until this year of tape every year to see what he does and doesn't do. We can look at Josh Allen and see what he's going to. You know where he's looking.
Right.
You know where he's going to run. You can tell. Because I watched the game again today, and there were instances where, like we talked about last week, where I said he can help create a pocket. He created the pocket.
Right.
But then there were times when he rolled the wrong way and went into the pressure.
Right.
It's like, dude, you're looking at the pressure. You're looking at it.
Do you think, because this was another thought I had, do you think that Josh is a victim of the rivalry between the Patriots and the Bills? And here's what I mean. When Josh Allen was drafted, Tom Brady was still here. Everybody looked at the potential that Josh had and the way that he played. Even against the Patriots, he very early on, he had a decent amount of success. Now, he didn't have the pieces around him to really become Josh freaking Allen at that point. And by the time he did, Tom Brady was already gone.
Right.
But when you look at, and I'm getting to the point, I promise. When you look at the two best quarterbacks in the league right now, Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, they've adopted the same efficiency in their game that Tom Brady was famous for, that won Tom Brady 7 rings, right? And when you look at what I had reported before, where the team went to Josh and said, listen, we want you to, do Tom Brady's diet plan, and we want you to, study, they basically wanted him to adopt the TB12 method, right? And I think they saw very early on, man, if he can get some efficiency in his game, he can be the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
Right? But maybe somewhere along the line, in Josh's mind, he was thinking, now, I want to beat Brady. I don't want to be Brady. Do you think maybe that rivalry is what made him turn away from that? Or, you know what I mean?
It could be. I wouldn't call it a rivalry because that would be intrinsic to him to me. Like you just said, your last statement, I want to beat Brady. We didn't tell you to beat Brady. We told you to be a Super Bowl champion. I don't care.
Well, no. At that point in time when Brady was still here, everything was, when you play the Patriots, we want to beat them so bad.
We want to beat them.
That means the world to us.
We want to, but on an individual level.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying Allen came in like that, but
right.
I mean,
and that's what you said. I want to do
atmosphere.
it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. He's saying I want to do it. I don't. If that happened, it's intrinsic to him. But that would feed into what happened with Rodgers last night and why he played like that.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good correlation. I can see that.
So,
I can see that.
And my thing is, you look at Zach Wilson, and is he better than Josh Allen? No. Is he bad? No. But what he did that Josh didn't do, he took what we gave him. And he threw he had big time throws, like the throw to Lazard right between the linebacker and was it Benford on the zone for the first down? It's like a 15-yard strike.
Yeah.
He wasn't making that throw, not because he couldn't, but because he wasn't looking for it until he had to.
Yeah.
What tells Josh Allen to throw a 60-yard bomb on 3rd and 2? Like that time when I was at work, jumped up and down, and I'm not even, when I watch sports, I'm not even that animated.
Right. He
scrambled, and all he had to do was keep going to get the first down.
Yeah.
That's all he had to do.
Yep.
And there was like 2 or 3 other instances of this.
Yep.
There was one of the sacks he took, he had Kincaid streaming across the middle on like the 15-yard line. It's not going to get you. It's not a big time play, but it's a drive extender.
Right.
And Josh, to the point, after year 2, which is what was it, year 2 or year 3, where he really started using the intermediate. I mean, it might have been when Diggs came, because that's when he was lights out.
Mm-hmm.
It was lights out, and he went away from it. But the funny thing is, he went away from it when Dabo went away from us. So who's going to get in this guy's? And this is my thing too. And I'm going to park on Josh Allen because I beat him to oblivion. But who's going to get in his face and say, That's not what I called. If I know where you're deficient, if I know your tendencies, I know what's working, and I call something and it doesn't play out on the field the way I called it, that's not what I called. You get in his grill. I don't care if he's 258 or not, because guess what? If the Bills are stupid enough to let you go, somebody else is going to pick you up, because you got the guts to get into a star player's face and demand.
Yep.
So
the other thing too, like Dorsey at this point in his career as an offensive coordinator, he's got a number 2 offense up under his belt.
Yeah.
Like that's on his resume now.
Mm-hmm.
Like your first year in the league, you got the number 2 offense.
Mm-hmm.
And if people want to point at, well, you had Josh Allen, okay, but Josh Allen still has the most turnovers in the entire league
in his 5 years, 5 year span,
right? Of any quarterback, right? Yeah. And so
I think he's tied with Jared Goff. I think
he's ahead of him now.
Goff after last night, yeah.
But
after before the game, he was tied.
He was tied with Jared Goff, yeah, for sure.
And that's no company you want to keep. That's no company you want to keep.
Well, I mean, listen, to be honest, Jared Goff in his career so far has been further than Josh Allen.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I
but
mean,
he also had, well, I'm not going to say it because you're going to get excited. Never mind.
He also had.
He had the offensive coach. That's what he had.
He
had Sean McVay.
That's what I'm talking about.
I know. And see the thing about for me, and you're right. But see, for me, the Sean McVay point would have worked whether he was offensive or defensive. He was so innovative to me that I think, and he had, like I said, the consortium. He had the court that he goes to say, the well.
Yeah.
And he took it and ran with it, but he also had coaching positions nobody else had before. The what do you have? He had some far out stuff, but it worked. But that's what I'm talking about when I say innovative.
Yeah,
like you said, I know I don't know offense, but I bet I'm gonna get the best offense I can.
Exactly.
But that's not what this guy's doing.
Okay. So this is a trend that we see around the league. Typically, we see teams go very political when they're hiring the next coach that they expect to be there for a decade.
Yeah.
Right? When the Bills hired Rex Ryan, that was kind of we want to get away from the boring, Dick Duran and
the Malarkey.
Malarkey.
Yeah,
and who was the other guy? Doug Marrone. Yeah, right. We want to get away from the boring. Yep. We want to be, we want to be poppy.
That's when you got Wilson trucks and is this thing on?
Yeah. We're coming in with the Syracuse helmet on and stuff like that.
Yeah, like the Clemson helmet.
I'm sorry, Clemson. Yeah. Like that, that was a political move, right? Mm-hmm. And then you look at you can look at the Sean McVay hire and say that's an unconventional move for what is typically an unconventional city.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Now, the furthest the Bills have been willing to go so far in the unconventional route was probably one of the biggest stains on the face of the city in Rex Ryan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He took a defense that should have been the best in the league with him here in relation to how they performed the year before.
Yeah, they were. He was handed the keys. They were like number 4 when he got them, I believe. Something right. Crazy.
So he took that car and drove it straight off a cliff. and from that point, it was the shows in the press conference that he would put on. It was the nonchalant nature in the locker room where he was a player's coach.
Yeah.
Right. And what was the next move the next move after that? We can't lose season tickets.
Yeah.
So we have to bring somebody in that is different from what we had.
Yep.
Because we got to keep the season tickets going.
Yep.
Now, this is probably one of the few cities in the league that suffers from that problem. Right? If you're LA, Sean McVay can retire tomorrow and they'll just hire another guy and hope that he's great. And guess what? If he's not, he'll be here for 2, maybe 3 years, and then they'll get him out of here and get another guy. Let's try this one. If you're the Bears, so what? We've been selling season tickets for I don't know how long. Mm-hmm. It don't matter if we lost the way we did to Green Bay, even though they don't got Aaron Rodgers no more. We'll still sell out the next game.
Right.
People will still come to see the show, right? So my point in all this is at this point it's very difficult to believe that based on what the team believes the voice of the city is calling for, that the Bills are going to go out and make the unconventional move and bring in the next Mike McDaniels or the next Sean McVay or the next Kyle Shanahan or the next Nick Sirianni. Like, Shane Steichen is doing things with Anthony Richardson right now.
Zach Taylor.
Right?
There's so many out there. It's just there's just so 100%. Many out there.
And so now I'm anxious to see how the offensive coordinator for the Commanders does this year, because if he does do well, he'll certainly be looking at a head coaching position, right? And when I look at the Bills and I look at their situation, I'm just gonna call it. I don't think the Bills are going to get rid of Sean McDermott this year if they don't make the playoffs, or even if they make the playoffs and lose one game. I don't think it's going to happen this year.
No.
I think it's going to happen next year when it's more clearly justifiable because of the fact that the team is now outside of the championship window, right? You've had to cut cap numbers off of this team. You're gonna lose big names off this team. This team is not gonna be the same next year, right? Yep. And this team next year is probably gonna be lucky to even make the playoffs with all the other teams that are up and coming in the AFC, including the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, I'd even go as far as to say lucky to have a double-digit win season.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
That's where, and that's not even any kind of shade. That's nothing unfounded. I mean, it's just do the math.
Right.
It's out there. Nothing that I tell you guys, nothing that I say is actually going to be something from an inside source. This is just me deducing something. This is a slam dunk. So without good drafts, without the ability to find quality free agents on the up and coming, like it's almost like going to the stock market and just buying Tesla because Tesla's been hot. Buying Google because you can't win that way.
Right.
You have to find that. You got to find Google in '99 when it wasn't.
Right.
You got to find and ride with it.
Yep.
Kyer Elam. You got to find and ride with it. Wyatt Teller. Yep. You got to find and ride with these people. Of course, you're going to fail on some of them.
Yep.
But some of them, you have to coach them up. They don't come in there ready to drive.
Exactly.
And that's the thing with this organization. They just want to buy and buy and buy. It's time to pay the bill.
Oh, that's heavy. That, man, I like the way you laid that point out. Where we at? 6:35. Let's get to stuff we heard.
Let's get to okay. I mean,
what do you want to get to? Are we done with the game? Are we done with the game?
I mean, do you want to be done? Because I had some defensive thoughts.
Come on, give it to me. Listen, I got notes. I can go.
I haven't looked at my notes today. It's crazy. I've been scrolling like I haven't.
Yeah, I noticed you've been at the top for a while.
Yeah, off the top. Anyway, if everybody complain about Ed Oliver. They complain about where was he? But this is what I want everybody to understand. And I pulled it up. If you look here, this tells you exactly where they got their yards. Obviously, they got the big run off of Leonard Floyd's side. Okay. They got some good yardage off of Rousseau's side. But look at the middle.
Nothing.
Look at the middle. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
They did their job.
Over the right guard, which is usually where Oliver is, they got a 3-yard loss.
He had a tackle for a loss. Yeah. He had, I think, 3 or 4 tackles, 1 for a loss, half a sack. It's quiet. You don't have to be with the way Milano played last night. Your name is not going to be. You're not. It's not happening. But the thing is, if you're doing your 111, so they say, do your 111. He did it. Mm-hmm. He earned his food last night. Daquan Jones earned his food last night. Now, this is kind of what lends me to the point I was making that we had contention about last time about, with Von Miller and this, that, and third and being ready with the guy behind him. This 83-yard run, that was a count. Well, the first thing, I don't know if you noticed, it was a heavy front. So they had 3 tight ends out to the right side. They had 3 tight ends. And what did we do? We stayed in nickel.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a naked side because they had 3 tight ends.
They'll put an 8th man in the box, but we ain't coming out of nickel.
No. But the thing is, I think Sal Capaccio Sal Capaccio or Matt Bove said, he said, what we did to combat their big front was to bring Taylor Rapp in. We ran 3 safeties. On what world does that make sense? Where does that make sense?
They going to run heavy. Let's bring one more DB in just to be safe. Just to be safe.
Just in case. Oh.
Let's bring another 200-pound guy in just in case.
When you have Terrell Bernard, who's pretty much a safety. You got Matt Milano, who's pretty much a safety.
Right.
And to be fair, in Bernard's first day, I didn't think he was horrible. I didn't think he was great.
Right.
But see, that's another one.
He made one play that I liked. He shot the gap on.
Yes, that's what he does well. Yeah. He shoots the gap, and he laid the wood on. Remember when Taron Johnson got hit by Conklin? He laid the wood.
Yep.
So he's not afraid to hit, and he likes to shoot that gap. But my thing is, okay, you got a new guy out there who has no chemistry with this team because he hasn't played a live game with these guys. Mm-hmm. You got him with a green dot, and you expect him to make all the adjustments for his first game. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Right. And you saw that was evident by the 83-yard play. That was just, I mean, they said what did they say? Our set was off. No, your philosophy was off. Right. Your philosophy was dead wrong.
Right.
Because I'm not a coach. Never been a coach. I never played one on TV. But I can tell you when I see 3 tight ends, something bad about to happen to that side. Dollars to donuts. And furthermore, if I got 3 tight ends, I need to be able to depend on my front 4 to combat their offensive line, so that I can read and react to the ball. You got to swarm to the ball. And they didn't. Tre'Davious Edwards missed a tackle. Jordan Poyer, bad angle. And I don't know if you saw it. Well, you probably didn't, but they were making fun of Eli Manning because on the Manning cast, it was him, Peyton, and whoever it was.
It was Fitzpatrick.
Was it right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he was like, he said, "Oh, Brees is gone. He gone. Oh no. Oh, he's out of shape. He's so out of shape." Because Christian picked up, he's like, "That's what happens when you ain't playing for a while." He's out of shape. He said he didn't trust that knee. But wow. I mean, the thing is, and the funny part about this was average depth of tackle is actually a stat, right? Mm-hmm. Who made the tackle on an 83-yard play? Christian Benford.
Yeah,
he has a 44-yard average depth of tackle, which makes him look terrible because he had to make the tackle on that play.
Wow.
I mean, the stat means nothing, but just the fact that like everything else is like 8, 3, 44. Right. Makes him like a loafer. He came on the other side of the field.
Right.
But I digress. I go back to the main flaw I saw with this defense. Was it better? It was different. Much different than what we've seen.
I think the pass rush was better. Now, that could have been because of the Jets' offensive line.
And that could have been because Leonard Floyd's out there.
Well, yeah, I get, essentially that's what I'm saying. I think Rousseau looked better. Even when Becton tried to cut him, like it looked like he handles cuts, cut blocks much better. Mm-hmm. It looked like he looked a little bit more prepared for moves and counter moves by the guy he was across from. So it does look like he's improved. I just think overall the defensive line had consistent pressure the entire game, and usually in years past you didn't see that. You would see that in maybe the first quarter or the first half, but the team usually makes adjustments at halftime, and then they just don't see pressure the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I said, it was different. It looked different. It was fun to watch. But in the grand scheme, to me, it just wasn't better. As a whole. It
looked the same. Like there was even some third down play. I think it was the third down play where Alan Lazard was wide open and the quarterback threw the ball to him like as he was falling down or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On that play, you could see Benford pulling off. He was already 7 yards off the line of scrimmage before the ball was snapped.
Yep.
So they're still giving up soft coverage. They're still looking for, Garrett Wilson to run past it. Like it's weird. They think the teams with some of the slowest receivers are just gonna burn them deep.
Right.
I don't know what the philosophy is in the film room or what they're told on third down, but and maybe some of it has to do with the speed that the player possesses, but it seems like they're scared to death to get beat deep.
They were receive. I mean, the thing for me, it was boom or bust. I just kept saying boom or bust, boom or bust. It was never an intermediate. It was never a middleman.
Yeah.
It was either they're going to make a play or they're going to get burned, and they got burned to me more than I wanted them to. I mean, I'm okay with conservative. I like conservative because when I look at the box score from yesterday's game, I mean, it fed into what I said before the game was played. We lost the time of we won the time of possession. Mm-hmm. But we also had more penalties than them. We had 5 to their 2 for 40 yards to their 10. Third downs were the same. But the thing is, our defense was gassed. They were tired. Because the offense, as I stated before, the offense is normally conditioned and built to score quickly.
Right.
There's no dinking and dunking, and there's no, so the defense was going all out, running all this crazy exotic nonsense, but by the end of the game, they had nothing left. And I don't want to see how that goes later in the season when, we're 5, 6, 7, 8 games in and we don't get to rest our bodies like your buddy Josh Allen says. But
oh God, please don't get me started on this.
We won everything. We won first downs.
The reason our best player wants to leave right now.
We won the first downs. We won the completions. We won the passing yardage. Yep. We won total yardage.
Yep.
They won a rushing yardage game off of
they
a
had
major
more yards per play.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been without that. It would have been about the same.
We won time of possession.
But they scored more than we did. And yeah, Josh Allen did have some bonehead interceptions. But the thing is, when you run aggressive like that, you just couldn't. Like, once you saw what they did, and they didn't, like you said before the season started, you were worried that a big play was going to push them back in their shell. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't.
Well, I think it did. And I want to use, I want to use this as an example. Mm-hmm. When I think it was the same series that I want to get this right. It was when they got the 2 penalties and Sean McDermott declined both of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think at that point the score was 13-6, or no, it was 13-3 at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I think it was starting to become clear to Sean McDermott, based on the way that Josh Allen was playing, based on the way the defense was playing, he just wanted to play it safe and get out of there. Mm-hmm. I think at that point he had already lost confidence in Josh, right? So, I
mean, rightfully so.
Right. Yeah. But I think at that point, your defensive-minded head coach, who tends to get very tight in big games and make scared decisions in big games, mm-hmm. decided that it was more beneficial to his defense to not give the Jets and Wilson another shot on, well, it would have been 4th down and 23 or something like that.
Right.
Or I'm sorry, third. It would have been third and 20 something, right? If they took one of the penalties, because both of them were 10-yard penalties, right? And you tell the ref, no, we don't want either of those. We'll take the fourth down and 13 and let them kick a 40-yard field goal. That's a scared decision. That is a decision where you're thinking in your mind, we don't have it tonight. I got to get my guys out of here as fast as I can with this lead, and let's just get home. We'll lick our wounds. We'll take the win, and we'll deal with the press conferences and all that stuff as it comes. But that it stinks of a head coach that has already decided at that point, I just want to keep my 13 points and get out of here.
See, for me, I think that's what made me believe that they were gassed. That's what made
The
me
defense?
Yeah. I think they were gassed. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think I've heard a couple other people think that.
I mean, it's week 1, so you're probably right.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a lot. It was a big adjustment for them to be out there, and like I said, they weren't off the field long enough to recoup. Because it seemed like as soon as they got off the field, they were back on the field.
Yep.
And we're rushing and we're doing all the exotic stuff. We're playing all over the place.
And the Jets could run the ball, so they were having 5, 6, 7 minute drives.
Yeah. So I mean, and the thing is that zone just wasn't zoning for me. The zone wasn't zoning for me. They had some big gaps between the corners and linebackers, and they had to clean that up. I think that is Bernard that has to get used to certain components of the defense, the new defense, because he can do it.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to take some time.
Well, the other part of that too, and I want to give the Jets a little bit of credit. I think with them having Nate Hackett there and them having Aaron Rodgers in the building at all, gave the offense and the receivers and the tight ends and the running backs information and experience and knowledge on playing against zone coverages and how to find spots to sit down in the zone. That was something that was talked about during the game as far as how Garrett Wilson picked up how to sit in the zone and wait for the ball. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I want to give credit where credit is due. I think the Jets and their staff did a good job at getting everybody to a point where they could play well against zone coverage in general, right? I don't think that's something that the Bills expected to see in the Jets offensive players based on the tape they already had. Right. But nobody had tape on this, Aaron Rodgers led team. And so I think that played a big part into, how Wilson and company was able to, have the level of success that they did against our defense.
Yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, it can go. We'll have to see next week. You have to see, what they do. I just want to also say anybody that's jumping on Christian Benford, relax. He actually played a decent game. Relax. He was all right.
Jump on who?
Christian Benford.
Oh, no, he was straight.
Yeah, relax. And what it is people they want to find something.
Who's jumping on him?
No, nobody in the media. Just comments I've seen. So anybody that watches this show, anybody that if you want to debate me on this, I will take that debate.
What plays did he give up? I don't remember any play that he gave. Like he swatted the ball. He ran down the guy that was about to score a touchdown on your team.
Yes, he did.
I mean, in my mind, he had a great game.
I would agree.
Now,
I mean, was he as good as
your stud corner Trey White giving up that play in the end zone? I don't.
Yeah, you know what? That's a hard one for me because
how many times has he seen a fade route?
Well,
and still can't
that stage at least twice. Because I remember one from a couple of years ago.
He's by far the worst number one corner that I've ever seen playing against the fade route.
The fade, yeah. But like I said, like we talked about, I just don't have him as elite as most people do. So
he's not elite.
No,
to me.
I don't have him as elite, and what you saw yesterday was why. I mean, it just was. You have Stephon Diggs who got off on Sauce Gardner.
Right.
But the Stephon Diggs. And that was only 3 for 33.
Exactly.
Stephon Diggs also went off on Michael Carter. He went off on anybody else that he was a Whitehead. He went off on. I mean, he was all over the place.
But Garrett Wilson did nothing the entire game except for that one play on your best corner.
Yep.
That's never supposed to happen.
And that's what I was getting at. I'm glad you filled it in because, if you look at their best corner versus their best wide receiver versus our wide receiver.
Yep.
Ours is clearly better.
100%.
Ours was clearly better. Mr. Diva, Mr. Problem Child. Like I said before, I said he can say whatever you want.
Yep.
Go to the Met. I bet you he still gets you 1,500 yards.
Yeah.
Now, as long as he doesn't get hurt, I bet you he gets 1,500 yards. So
I got Josh Allen on my fantasy team, man. Should I trade him?
Nah. But I can tell you after yesterday, I think I'm going to owe you 20 wings, man.
Ooh. What do we bet on again?
Von Miller coming back on against the Jags.
Oh yeah. The way they
playing? I'm getting 22.
The way they playing, man.
I'm getting 20. Man, the way that D-line look, Von Miller's playing in week 5. It's going to happen. And we are going to enjoy some wings together.
I'm with it.
Guys, if you watch at home, you get yourself a 20. Not on me. Get yourself a 20 stack as well. I'm not paying for it, but somebody
that day
will.
off so we can watch a game or something, man.
Somebody looks, yes. But I mean, to kind of put a bow on the game itself.
Yeah.
The defense has a lot of work to do. The coaching staff has a lot of work to do because the players they have.
I don't think there's anything the coaches can do, man. Well, defensively, they may be able to do something. I don't think the defensive players have closed their ears just yet.
Now let that front 5 cook on the offensive line. Something's got to give. That cannot be the hindrance. I mean, you got all those horses back there.
Let the offensive line cook.
You got to do something with them. You got to do something.
You talking about? Listen, if they're going to be successful, you're talking, and this is when we talked about this 12 formation.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I was hopeful was a change in the run scheme, because typically with that formation you're doing more zone runs, more outside runs. That plays so well with how James Cook plays.
He's
like
silky
his finesse
smooth.
game. Exactly.
Oh man,
and he reads the holes well.
And I think I might have tweeted out, or I know I texted you and a couple of people. I said, "This is what you were missing watching Singletary."
Yes,
this is what you were missing. I mean, there was no. He danced minimal,
right?
And he got there. He saw that crease and got there. You know, Singletary didn't run people over, so you're not losing that.
Yep.
I mean, what are the odds? This guy he had 5 forced missed tackles in the game.
Yep.
5 on 12 carries.
You know what? I'm gonna defend James Cook right now for anybody out there today, because I heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, why James Cook went down? He went down so quick and he didn't fight for extra yardage." For everybody out there, this is a Bills staff that preaches to these players that their best ability is their availability.
Steph Diggs did it. Remember he caught was his first ball?
It went straight down.
Yeah, it went down. And then
exactly.
I'm like, well,
the tough guy move. First down on y'all. Okay, all right. I mean, you did duck when we tried to kill you, so I mean, all right, whatever you want to do with that, bro. But the point that needs to be said about James Cook is he's doing what it takes to get the yards, but not sacrifice his body to do it, and not put himself in a position to where he can't help the team. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm okay with that.
His first start too.
And here's the correlation. Here's the correlation. Steph Diggs, you could use it as an example. Who's another all-time great player that did that all the time?
All the Patriots.
Tom Brady.
I was thinking Wes Welker. I was thinking Julian Edelman. 100%. I was thinking.
They were so annoying when they did it, because when they did it, they ducked down real quick at your knees.
Right. Cole Beasley.
So it got on like they were always so subtle the way with. But like exactly. Like, so for anybody trying to come at James Cook, like, just leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's doing what he needs to do. He wasn't the problem at all yesterday.
That's my running back, man. That's my running back.
Yeah, I
go to battle for him.
To me, it should be Latavius Murray backing up James Cook, and then go draft another big running back to take Latavius Murray's spot next year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, like you said, I don't know if Harris is hurt, if what happened, but he got replaced by Latavius Murray in the game.
Right.
You know, James Cook did too. But James Cook, who knows why? They wanted to give a bigger look. Maybe they wanted to grind it out. Which brings me back to that 2nd and 15 draw at the end.
Yeah, the end of the game, I
what was that?
To me, that is a very Sean McDermott type of call. Mm-hmm. It's a conservative. We don't want to keep throwing the ball. We don't want to keep putting chances out there for the defense to make a play, or put chances out there for Josh Allen to mess up, even though he's the only reason you're still playing.
Right.
At that point. Like, I think to some degree you had to just put it all on his shoulders. Like, yeah, he had the 3 interceptions. Yeah, he had the fumble. But he also did come back on that last drive and prove why people think he's great. You know what I'm saying? So there's a little bit of a balancing act you have to do, in that type of situation where, okay, I'm not going to trust my running back against this defensive line with my poor offensive line play more so than I am my 6'5" stud quarterback that can throw the ball all over the yard or run for a first down if he needs to. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I think at that point, one of the things that I wanted to touch on with James Cook, even going into overtime, you didn't use him as a mismatch for those linebackers.
Right.
You depended on your tight ends to essentially be that third receiver, and when Dawson Knox turned out to not be that, either because he couldn't catch the ball or because he couldn't find the spot quick enough, you were stuck with Dalton Kincaid underneath on routes that a 6'8", 280-pound tight end could run, and I mean Bobby Hart could run the routes that Dalton Kincaid was running and catch those passes. He had 4 catches for 29 yards.
Yeah, I mean I was very disappointed with the distribution of it. I mean he did complete a pass to 8 different receivers, but I was disappointed in the output. I mean, Gabe Davis 2 catches. What was it? Dawson Knox 3 catches. Kincaid 4 catches. James Cook 4 catches. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. Hardy had 3 catches in like the first or second within the first 2 drives.
Yep.
And they were all behind the line of scrimmage. So it was like, okay. Then it was weird because if you notice, did you notice Stephon Diggs lining up in the backfield?
No.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs lined up in the backfield. Hardy lined up behind Josh Allen a couple of times. It was far out, man. It was far out.
Yeah, I mean, even with Deontay Hardy, the swing passes that he was getting, I liked those plays. I think those type of plays needed to be used with routes that took the players away from the play.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're looking at, like, I would have liked to have seen some formations where you have Hardy and Cook in the backfield, Josh Allen is in shotgun, and however you want to do the other players, the other 8 players there, do something like that where you're able to get Cook on a linebacker and you get Hardy on a linebacker. One of them is going to beat the linebacker that they're against, right? And you're using that tight end and the other 2 receivers to take the rest of the defense away from the play. Yep. Now you're putting James Cook in a position, or you're putting Deontay Hardy in a position where they only have to juke one dude. And I'm sorry, both of those guys are capable of getting away from one guy. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So is that an offensive coordinator thing? Yeah, probably. But
I mean, is it? Well, yeah, that would be. I mean, it's funny because I was gonna bring it up, but I say, you know what, my moment is past, so I'm not going to anymore. But I was thinking about when I made the point earlier about running plays that I call. Yeah. I'm sure Dorsey and Allen, I don't care what they tell you, they have different thoughts on where the ball is supposed to be going, when it's supposed to be going there. So it's like, okay, Dorsey calls it with the anticipation that it's going to go to Gabe Davis or Trent Sherfield.
Right.
But if it doesn't go to Diggs, it's going to Whitehead. So it's I mean, and that's honestly what happened yesterday. If it didn't go to Diggs, Whitehead.
Real quick, because we gotta start closing up. But the punter. You ready to cut him yet?
That was all bad. No, I'm not ready to cut him, but that was all bad.
I mean, I'm sorry. He got to run some drills, some extra drills or something like that in practice.
Oh, do some conditioning?
He got to do some. He got to do some exercise in practice to make sure he's in the correct shape to be able to make those plays going forward. But
well, you know what they said? They said the snap was low, coverage was sent one way, and he kicked it the other way. So it was a miscommunication. It didn't hang because he.
So not only did he cause that play, when he had a chance to stop that play from coming to fruition, he didn't do it either. Oh yeah, that's an easy cut. That's an easy cut.
I mean,
bro, I can get another punter.
I mean,
if I'm the Buffalo Bills and I got Josh Allen as my quarterback and I'm looking at trying to win a Super Bowl, I don't care who my punter is. You know why? In this day and age, it's time to go for it on 4th down. Period.
I think Bojorquez with the opposite spin on the ball. You know that's a trend.
They wanted to get rid of him.
They were big about the opposite spin of the ball. I understand, but I mean, you know, I just wanted to go back real quick. I have one more point.
Yep.
Gabe Davis, can we just not now? He's playing himself into a contract the Bills can afford.
Oh,
that's where he is.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Yeah.
What is he?
Yeah.
What he's
a team. He's a team captain.
He is a team captain. He's supposed to bring it this year because he's got the responsibility.
He's bringing it as a team captain. He's the second best team captain on the team.
Yeah, probably. But
that's what he is right now, man.
I mean, for the size, he has no physicality. The interception, that was a bad throw to Whitehead. Obviously,
he doesn't fit this offense. Let's just get that out there.
So that's what I'm saying. Can we just?
Well, I think that's why he got the C. I think some of it may be politics. Maybe his players love him that much, and they gave him the C because they want him to stay. Maybe his peers didn't give him the C. Maybe the coaches did it because they're trying to get in his head and let him know we want you to stay. Blah blah blah. Take less money.
Yeah, because I mean, if he said I had no idea I was getting this. Everybody has an inkling that you're getting the captaincy. Everybody has an inkling,
right?
Because it's like we saying, "Hey, Ken, you driving today?" Moi, me, my 6-year-old son. If y'all don't know, Ken, you're driving. He's probably home right now. Oh, when I get home, Dad's gonna give me the keys to the truck. But anyway, no, you know, it's just like you said, there was something going on with that.
Yeah,
I think they were trying to light a fire in his butt because you don't have to have a certain amount of captains. They could say we're going to go without this one or whatever.
Yep.
But here he is. And where was he last night? He had one good kiss. I was like, okay, all right. That's the game I want to see. Then
any other captains just not show up like that?
No.
Nah.
Even Medikevich was out there.
Listen, Gabe, I got your jersey. You my boy. But you don't fit this offense, man. Like
it's a Stevie Johnson jersey. No, I'm joking. You do have a jersey. You have the authentic jersey, yes.
But I just, you know, I think you're right. I think it's time to move on. I like what I saw from Trent Sherfield enough to say, let's trade him now and let's just get Sherfield in there and just be done with it.
Just let it happen. I mean, because with Knox and Kincaid, you have your top 3 receivers right there.
Yeah.
And then James Cook, like you said, Hardy, you could do whatever you want. You don't even need a number. A de facto number 2 will work.
Right. I just want to say, for the record, Dawson Knox is not Dalton Kincaid.
Mm-mm.
The way that Dawson Knox was used yesterday, that should have been Dalton Kincaid's role. That catch on the right hash in the zone that Allen threw low, that, let's face it, Knox should have caught.
The one that went through his hands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kincaid makes that catch. We've seen him do it in practice. And for some reason, whether they were listening to this show or not, when we were talking about the contract that Dawson Knox has, for some reason they decided that this rookie tight end who specializes in finding spots in the zone and getting open and separating from the defender, they decided they didn't want to use him in that way. They wanted to use him in the way that they should have been using Dawson Knox.
Right.
It's like they switched.
It was weird.
They switched the specialties.
Weird. I mean, because I appreciated Dawson Knox getting involved because last year we didn't see him at all. And I text you.
Right.
Obviously, you know what I text you. But when I text you, man, I was trying to get Dawson Knox, but he was gone. Yeah. I really was. And I took Dalton Kincaid instead. But what I saw yesterday, I can live with that from Dalton. When he got that play on the left side, the sideline, and just trucked the dude.
Yeah.
That's the Dawson Knox I want to see. The tough yardage.
That's fine, but that's all stuff that he could still do, getting 4 catches for 26 yards.
No, I know. I mean, even go further than 4 catches. If you did that on it'd be closer to 40, you know, and
right,
and that's fine. I'm not arguing with the way he's used. It's just you have Dalton Kincaid, who is a speedier guy. He's a smaller guy, not as physical. But then you also have Dawson Knox, who can block and play the receiving game. They both should be out there. Right. Let them do their thing, and that's why we don't really need Gabe Davis. That's what he's going to do the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, just think about what Josh is seeing out there when people are saying, "Oh, stop throwing it to Diggs all the time. Stop looking at Diggs all the time." Well, who the heck else is open? Yeah. Right? And mind you, we're also the same guys that are sitting on this show and saying, "You got this guy underneath, you got that guy underneath." Okay, fine. We are saying that. We do mean that. We're not doubling back on that, but we're also saying if you know your quarterback likes to look deep, then get more than one guy that can get separation deep, right? Like,
yeah. And don't try to typecast Gabe Davis as that guy, because he's not.
No, he's not.
He's not.
He's not. Right. And what we're really looking for is we're not looking for a guy that can always be open deep. Right. We're looking for a guy who can just get open wherever he needs to get open.
A Steph Diggs light.
Exactly, and to me, that's what I think Sherfield could be for this offense. 100%. If he's playing Gabe Davis's role, I think he could definitely be that, right? And so my solution and the things that I want to see going into next week is find some way to trade Davis. Find some way
by Sunday.
By Sunday. By Sunday. Right? Or just sit him down so he don't get hurt and let the world know that he's going to be traded and just get whatever you can for him, right? Because you're not going to pay that guy. Second thing is you got to get Cook on running on linebackers more. He's got to do more in the passing game. He has to be more of a weapon so he can be on the field all 3 downs and be the type of running back that teams are worried about every time he's out there, right?
You could line him up in the slot if you really wanted to.
Right. I'm thinking when I see James Cook, people should be thinking Austin Eckler. That's what they should be thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, to me, they're very similar backs. The third thing I want to see is you got to switch the roles of Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. You have to. Dawson Knox is a much better blocker than Dalton Kincaid right now. He needs to be that guy that's chipping and slipping out at the last minute for those for those last second throws if the pass rush gets too heavy. That needs to be his role going forward the whole rest of the season. He'll put up some great numbers in this offense if you have Sherfield out there, if you have Cook out there. And you got Dalton Kincaid, running the routes that Dawson Knox was running last night. I think if you switch those things around, you got a real shot at having a number 2 offense again in the league this year.
Yeah, I think the offense, honestly for me, I think the offense is a better shot at being good because you can mask an offensive line. You can well, in theory, you can. I don't know if Josh has the ability to mask an offensive line because Josh doesn't throw the ball when it's facing and quickly like you would want to see out of a team that has no offensive line. I do, like you said, I need to see a little more out of Dalton Kincaid, not because of his fault, but I need to see his utilization go up. Right. I need to see Connor McGovern return to one phase of blocking. I need to see Mitch Morris show some determination on your pulls. I need to see. I mean, Deion Dawkins was not bad. He was not bad. Osiris Torrance, keep doing what you're doing. You got your hands dirty with Quinnen Williams, which is that's a heck of an order for your first game, sir. So you did well. But defensively, I do have questions that if you guys want to follow on Twitter, I'll post it in the comments again. I do have sporadic tweets to my 8 followers or however many I have today. I'm trying, y'all. But on a serious tip, I did, before we get out here, I wanted to plug one of my friends who's doing a great thing. Taylor McElfrin. She is actually feeding the homeless downtown at the library. She does it every Sunday. She's looking for anybody who wants to give from their hearts. If you want to help donate for food, if you want to help donate your time to help serve the needy downtown, she is always one call away. So please, if you're interested, even remotely, get in contact with me or get in contact with her, and we will set you up in the right direction to get everything we need done.
That's amazing. We need more people doing stuff like that without the cell phones out so that they can post it on their social medias and look what I'm doing. Like we need people who are just focused on helping people. That's amazing. Shout out to her. Okay. Well, looking at these miscellaneous notes you got here.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. I want to read this quote real quick before we get out of here. Mm-hmm. It's a quote that I heard on the radio today. I was listening to the morning show, and they were talking to Chris Brown, and Chris Brown had a quote from something Steve Tasker said during the sportscast. And what he said was, he said, quote, "The Bills are so good, they have to help you beat them. And even when they do help you, they only lose by one score." Who gives a god? Why do I care about that? Like, why is that even that's there's nothing eloquent about that. There's nothing that puts me in awe of that statement. Listen, you shouldn't be helping the team at all. And this whole losing by one score, the NFL is inch or a mile. You can win by an inch or a mile. The point is, you still got the W. Period. Right? So if I'm the team that's giving someone a W, I still gave you the W.
Yep.
It don't matter if you only beat me by one score or you beat me by 10 scores. That doesn't say anything more on the score sheet than it usually would in the standings the following week.
A winner's a winner's a winner's a win.
Right. So don't give me this whole moral victory of the Bills are so dominant they have to help other teams win.
That doesn't make any sense, really, when you think about it.
Right.
Makes zero sense.
Right. Because you can't be dominant if you're helping another team beat you.
And this is the episode of South Park where they didn't want to play baseball. Remember that?
No.
Oh, you didn't see that?
No. I'm gonna have to watch it.
No, sidebar. I'll tell you this. None of the kids want to play baseball, so they all worked at being so bad at the game that they knew how to lose the game on purpose. Until then, but they kept winning because the other team they kept playing was worse at the game than them. Until they got to play, I think it was a Japanese team or something like that. You know, Japanese can play some baseball.
Yeah.
The Japanese team was so good at being bad. Like they mispitched, and the ball hit the bat up here, and he hit it into the dude's glove. He was trying to. It was ridiculous. So that's dominant. That's dominant. Right. But I didn't see that last night.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
You got to. I'm gonna try to find it. But right. Yeah, I'm in my last thing, and I'm hoping to God. I'm hoping we don't have this kind of conversation next week. I want to talk about a win next week.
Yeah, I think we'll get one. I mean, it's Jimmy G, and all he does is win. So, we'll see. But, yeah, I think we got a shot. It's the home opener, and this team is coming off of this embarrassment of a loss. I'm giving us a W next week. I think it's going down in Orchard Park.
I think Devontae Adams going to forget the team playing, so we'll be okay. No, I'm gonna say in Orchard Park, it's rocking.
What you got on the score, real quick?
Let's see. I'm gonna say, I'm scared. I'm gonna say 24-14.
24. Okay.
24-14.
I immediately, when I thought about the score, I'm thinking 34-14.
34. See, I said 28 for yesterday, and
their defense is not great.
I got 16. Josh Allen was not great.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we were gonna get more than one touchdown.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get this music back on.
We every time.
We ran the music out.
But while you're queuing it back up, guys, if you like what you saw, all we do is clown.
Listen,
all we do is clown.
Yep, all day long. We need a producer that can do all of this stuff for us. I'm over here producing. I got Junie working the cameras. We need a team, man. We need a team. Listen. Yeah. It's the Post Podium Podcast, y'all. You know what it is. We here growing and gaining consistency and doing this thing to the best of our ability. We trying to give y'all what y'all been asking for I don't know how long, because it's the same thing we've been asking for I don't know how long. This is the home of the all true, no sodium takes. We are all about getting to the bottom, the root issues, and exposing these things for what they really are. We don't try to get on here and say nothing that we didn't put some serious thought and research into to bring out on this show. Yeah. I do want us to start getting some guests on soon. I know we talked about doing the calls and stuff, but that's going to be a little bit further down the line, just because we need some.
Further down. I mean, this is our first post game. It's our first post game. We got to fill it out, see what we need to do, how it's going to play out. So I think I liked it. It was a success.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
But you guys, like I said on my Facebook page, if you guys have something to commiserate about, you guys are down in the dumps, need some therapy, come on by. come on by. And there's no such thing as a bad comment on a day after a loss. Come on through. We'll fix you up right and get you ready for your rest of your week.
No doubt. That's what it is. Listen. Thursday is going to be. It's not going to be a live show anymore. Okay. We're going to record the show on Thursday. It'll be out and available on Friday. So we're doing a live show post game. So whatever day the Bills play, the next day we'll be doing a live reaction show. Okay. The second show that we do out of the week is going to be a regular recorded show like we started to do with the show in the beginning. So we are going to record on Thursdays. Do you want to do the Facebook Live on Thursdays? Or
Yeah,
you just
I'll
wanna...
do Facebook Live.
Okay, so we'll still do Facebook Live on Thursdays for those of you that want to get it right away. For those of you that are on the go and can't get to it right away or can't watch the entire thing, it'll be available for you on YouTube on Friday the following day. All right. With that being said,
like, subscribe, and hit the little bell thing. We need the ring-a-ling-a-ling.
bell thing. I like that. Hit the bell thing. All right. That's been it for the Post Podium Podcast. I've been your co-host Aramis,
And this is Keith.
and we are out.